very tiring.
Yeah.
Oh, if I still in my 20s, I probably
Oh,
can.
you old. I'm 53 this year. You know.
Yeah,
You-
ancient.
I'm fossilized. Ancient.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Adam. I have Rusmin,
Hello.
Victor,
Hi, everyone.
and our very special guest once again. We're happy to have you back, AK.
Ta-da.
Hello, everybody. I'm AK.
It's been a while since we had you. When was the last time we saw you?
Last time, sometime last year lah. End of last year maybe.
It's been a year.
Maybe.
It's been that long.
Was it November?
Almost.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
Time flies.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And we're so happy to have you back. We're going to talk a bit about what you've been up to, maybe your thoughts on recent developments in the markets and your portfolio as well. But I think we should just like have a chit chat. Like, how have you been? I mean, it's been a year. I haven't seen you since then.
Are you married now?
不要害我. No, not married. I think some of my readers and viewers will know lah. Recently I had some issues at home, so in and out hospital.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, my dad lah, Then myself also have some issues with my arm. So I just think that this is a good opportunity to remind everyone the importance of having insurance. Yeah.
Okay.
Adequate, relevant insurance. I'm not talking about buying insurance for your pet dog or your pet cat, or your pet goldfish. That
I
kind
mean,
of thing.
that's important for some people. Yeah.
Uh,
That's true, right?
Okay, I know people will spend a lot of money on pets, so yeah, and they don't want to have children, but they have pets. The other day I was just walking, evening walk, my usual evening walk. Then I saw someone with a pram, And you know what's in the pram? I said, oh, that's a very furry baby.
Okay.
Then the baby barked at me.
Okay.
It was a dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people love the fur kits. That's what
It's
they
very
call them.
common now.
Okay.
So back to insurance. Yeah, insurance is important. So I hope everything is okay on your side now that.
Yeah. So thanks to all the subsidies and the insurance that we took up, right? So the financial burden wasn't too much to bear, lah.
Okay.
So yeah. So please, if you haven't had a talk with your parents, make sure they're adequately insured, especially if they want to stay in Class A ward or Class B1 ward, or if they have a preferred doctor in a private hospital, that kind of thing. Then MediShield Life will not cover.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean MediShield Life covers Class C and Class B2 ward.
Okay.
Yeah, in what do you call that? Restructured hospital, government hospital.
Government hospital.
Government hospital.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know the terms actually.
It tells you how old I am.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I think maybe insurance is not just for older people, but for, I think, family with young kids. Because recently my younger son was hospitalized, and so luckily he had this hospitalization plan, so he was covered. So our out pocket is only like 5% of the amount.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. But I thought the children's MediShield insurance would be latched onto the parents' one.
Yeah, it depends on where. If you're going private, obviously you need to pay more,
of course,
right,
of
for
course.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those of you who like to want to go for those, private or what, you definitely have to get it covered lah. Otherwise, government hospital will be a good option.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. So these things really do happen. I mean, you never know when it could just
Yes.
in life just give you something, a curveball. Always good to have insurance. I think a lot of people who watch this video with you, they're always interested in what you're doing with your investments. So normally, like we have previous roundtables, we talk about your passive income. Maybe just quick update. How's your dividend portfolio doing? What's your passive income for 2023? Just to show everyone that, hey, if AK can do it, so can you.
I haven't been doing very much on the investment front, Of course, of all the things that have been going on in my life as well, I have not been looking very much at stocks. But generally, I think the last 1 year, I've just been building my cash position. Okay, with the exception of one stock. Last year in November, I bought more DBS shares at $31.80 per share. I think Rusmin made a remark in one of our podcasts. He said, why? You bought more. So I said I bought a little bit more. I think it was like $20,000+. So it's just to add on to my position. But other than that, I've just been adding to my cash position, just buying T-bills, Singapore savings bonds, especially Singapore savings bonds to lock in interest rates, because interest rates coming down, and of course now we know it has come down by 0.5%, and the Fed says by end of the year there'll be another 0.5% cut, and next year they are forecasting a 1% cut. So even though Singapore savings bonds yield has come down, I don't know, maybe some people want to consider locking in the 10-year yield.
2.7% now. Right? The
Is it?
recent one, I think it's about 2.7.
By the time this podcast is
it should be still there about
2.7%. Yeah, and of course you have a advantage of liquidity and all that kind of thing with SSBs, and only Singaporeans can buy, right? Yeah.
And there's a cap of 200,000.
Yeah, $200,000, yes. So yeah, I've just been building my cash position, and I've been doing this for almost a year, and I was very happy when I read in the news that Warren Buffett is also building his cash position. So I'm in good company.
Did you read that first, or was this decision to just show up cash your own thing as well?
I've been doing it for almost a year, right?
Okay, so it's nothing to do with Buffett. It was just like your own.
No. Of course, nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but I think he's more mainly in the Singapore market, right? And the past 1 year, I think there's not much of a fluctuation in the Singapore market also.
Yeah, I have to
So
look for
no opportunities to really pick things up. But I think REITs are a bit cheap as well.
Yeah, but if you have bought already, then you won't have top up. I mean, I'm managing for my uncle and auntie position, so I also was very inactive in the past 1 year or so for their, because they purely want Singapore stock.
Okay, so you still have a sizable portfolio of REITs that you just hold
not as big as it was 15 years ago. Obviously, some of the REITs I sold, some of them I was forced to sell, and I'm just holding on to what I had from back then. I mean, AIMS APAC REIT is still a big position, but to add to my REITs investment today, I need to demand a lot more from them, right? If you look at what it was like more than 15 years ago, right? Global financial crisis, REITs were offering you 12, 13%, 25% yield for one of the REITs I actually bought at that time. And even there was High Flux Water Trust was 17%. And you compare that to what the banks were offering at that time, talk about 3%. And the difference is very stark, right? So fast forward today, you have the blue chip REITs, so-called blue chip REITs, 5%, 6%, banks also 5%, 6%. Then when you look at how they are able to offer that to investors, the banks are paying 50, 60% of their earnings, and REITs are paying 90 to 100% of their income. Not even earnings, income. So huge difference. So I just don't see how attractive the REITs can be when compared to the banks, what they bring to the table today. Right? Even today, I think that the banks are still better investments than REITs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just not adding.
All right. So for those who don't know, I mean, the first time seeing AK, because I think some of you newer viewers, they don't know. AK is a blogger. He's been a long time blogger, one of the original investment bloggers in Singapore. OG. He's been writing for how many years now? 15 years?
15 years.
15 years. You can check out his blog at a Singaporean stocks investor. You can just Google ASSI to check it out. He blogs about what he does. He has a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
So you go on a wild tangent once in a while over there?
He's quite active. He's quite active on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, but do check him out. So for those who don't already know, AK's claim to fame is that he's a dividend investor, and he invests for dividend.
Purely in Singapore market.
Purely in Singapore, and he has a 6-figure passive income through dividends, which is a goal for many people who want to invest that way as well. So always good to have you here, and just pick your brain, tell you, just ask you questions about what you've been up to. So recently, I guess the big news is that very recently the Fed announced a rate cut, like you mentioned just now. 50 basis points. Is that going to change the way you're going to make a decision in the near term?
It's a drop in the ocean. 0.5% is a drop in the ocean. Even if you say another 0.5% in November, 1% in 4 rate cuts next year, you're still going to see interest rate coming down to 4%, 3.75%, 3.5%, that kind of range. I mean, it's still a lot higher than what we saw in the years after the global financial crisis, which was near 0%. Yeah, so I think the banks are still going to make money. The banks always make money. It's whether more or less money, they always make money. And then people are worried about the net interest income because interest rates coming down, they can have charged the customers lower interest rates. But the banks can manage their funding costs. They just pay you less on your savings accounts, your fixed deposits, your high yield accounts. They just pay you less. And for Singapore banks, it makes sense for them because they have a huge depositor base.
Sorry, close very
last time he needed to go toilet. This time around he needs to cough. And then
wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the toilet.
Okay.
Are you going to include this in the bloopers?
No, don't.
Yeah, so that's true. I mean, yes, the banks can always adjust interest rates, and they have non-interest income as well. I think Victor mentioned very recently that there's other ways that the banks are doing pretty well with wealth management, card fees, and stuff like that. So, in your opinion, banks are probably your favorite investment in Singapore at this point?
Yes. If someone asked me as a young person, should I invest in REITs or invest in the banks now? Someone asked me, and I said, that's hot potato question, because I'm not a young person anymore. Right? But I say, to me, the choice is clear. Right? You invest in the banks for income and growth. You can invest in the REITs for income, no growth. Yeah, if they want to grow, they will come back to you and ask for more money. The banks, they don't have to do that. So, it's not saying that REITs they don't have a place in our investment portfolio. They still have, but like I say, all investments are good investments at the right price, right? Stealing from Peter Lynch, So, I have a blog post and I also have a video on this. Demand more from REITs if you want to invest in them, even today, right? So, our interest rates come down, and I think it's very dangerous in the sense that many of us, we watch YouTube and we think that people who are, the YouTubers are experts. Right? Not all of them are experts, right? And I'm definitely not an expert, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we're not experts. We're just, I mean, honestly, we just share our stuff and we don't tell you what to do. You still have to take it on board with whatever your portfolio goals are, what your risk profile is, because everyone is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So every one of us, we should do our own due diligence, do our own analysis, arrive at the conclusion that we are comfortable with and that we take ownership. Right? Don't just say, this person say that person say. Don't blame other people, right? But, there are people who say, interest rates are coming down, REITs will do better. On the surface, it's a very persuasive argument, right? Interest rates come down, REITs will do better, right? Because they borrow so much money, their cost of doing business will come down, their cost of doing business will come down, means their financing costs will come down, their borrowing costs will come down. And then they say, you see, price go up already, I'm right. I think they are a bit mixed up. Are you looking at price or are you looking at value? Right, so if you look at value, then you see what is the value that this REIT brings to the table and what's the value that this bank brings to the table for you as an investor. Then you see when you do the comparative analysis, there's a big difference. Okay, I'm talking to myself.
And also the interest now and the interest back then for the REITs is very big difference also.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if they refinance, you'll be refinancing into a higher interest rate environment even after the rate cuts.
So you're comparing this to post financial crisis?
Yeah, I mean it's 0% interest rate, and now by end of next year you're looking at maybe 4% interest rate or 3.75% interest rate. It's still 300 plus basis points. Yeah. So take everything that people say with a pinch of salt, and then just go in with your eyes open. Do your own due diligence.
Okay. Has anyone ever asked you, if you invest in the banks, do you feel like you're ever over-concentrated in just those three banks? I know you have other investments in REITs and stuff like that. Is that ever a concern for you?
People ask that question, all the time, to Warren Buffett. Wow, 50% in Apple. How you feel? Every day eat Apple. So I think if an investment is doing well for you and is expected to do well for you for a long, long time, then of course, like Warren Buffett said, my favorite holding period is forever. Yeah, and I've always wanted to have a bigger position in the banks. As I say, 40%. of my portfolio. By now, it's about 45%. In fact, with the recent prices going up, it's a bit more than 45%. And I don't think that's too much, especially when you remember it's not like Warren Buffett 50% in one company, Apple. Mine is like 45% in one sector.
But it's correlated, right? Would you say?
In one sector.
I mean, it's one sector still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still correlated. I mean, if, in a sense, they tend to move in the same direction, right? The three banks.
But they have exposure to different territories.
Okay.
Like DBS is very big in India, and UOB has become very big in Southeast Asia after buying Citibanks. So geographically, there's some diversification, right? But of course, in terms of interest rates, all the same. And of course, when it comes to wealth management, like what Victor said about another source of income, right? DBS is huge, right? They account for more than 1/3 of all the family offices in Singapore, set up in Singapore. It dwarfs what UOB and OCBC have done. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Wow, DBS good, all put in DBS. Wow, why? Wow, Temasek backing. Wow, very good. Oh, I just said something. Yeah. So the kind of thing. Then some people say, oh, OCBC very good. Dividend the highest. And then their CET1 ratio also the highest, very safe. They're all OCBC. But you don't know because they're all run by people, right?
Yeah, and the opportunities come differently. It's not all the time that DBS is cheap or OCBC is cheap, and then you get in when the opportunity comes up. When it comes up, right? That's how you would do it.
Well, opportunity, I like to buy when they are cheap, like you said.
Yeah.
So like in 2016, it was cheap. DBS, I got in $13-14 per share. It was below book value.
Wow.
And this is a very simple rule of thumb. When you see Singapore banks below book value, you whack. You buy. Right? Pandemic, they also went down.
Yep.
Right? I think UOB I got at $19. I think it was close to book value, or was it at the discount book value? I cannot remember exactly. But even if it's like 1 times book, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so buy. And then you look at what they are today. OCBC, UOB 1.2 times book.
Yeah. Their average.
It's
OCBC,
not that expensive.
Yep.
Not that expensive. Then they're offering you 5-point-something% yield,
Right.
paying only 50% of their earnings, and the rest they retain for growth.
Yep.
They become more valuable over time. Which is why people say, oh, I want to wait until like the pandemic price UOB $19, you buy that price and I buy again. I say if that happens, the world economy must be in a big depression. Yeah, because the market knows, how much it's worth today, the book value. So even if it goes down to its current book value, it's not going to be at $19. But never say never lah. If it happens, I hope you have a war chest, no?
Okay.
Which you have.
Would you have lah?
You people have also. I say, you always put me in hot seat, kind of like that.
Oh, you're our guest here, so we ask you all the hard questions. Because they see us every week. I mean, we're just saying we don't see you all the time. I mean, like you said, it was 1 year ago. I didn't know time flew by so fast. I thought you were here like 6 months ago. But you've been a bit off the radar, so we're gonna just ask you all these questions.
I mean, to be fair, I'm substantially invested in the stock market, right? I mean, it's a few $1 million, very far away from centimillionaire lah. Nowadays they say Singapore a lot of centimillionaire. We rank 6 in the world for centimillionaire. I say, wow, what centimillionaire? 100 million. Wow. I don't know how many single-digit percent only of that centimillionaire. I say, oh. But later maybe we see some people with centimillionaire in the room. I don't know. Yeah. So like that lah. I'm already substantially invested for people in my what do you call that now? They are SES.
Socio-economic status.
My kind of
SES.
socio-economic status. I learned. I know this word is now very big in hardware zone. What low SES, high
still go hardware
SES.
zone?
No, people tell me one. I got many friends go hardware zone. Then they tell me, they talk about you and all that kind of.
You should try using
So what do
Reddit.
they say about you on Hardware Zone?
They call me a quack.
And what's the context?
This quack work 3 jobs save so much money then until now only worth a few $1 million you all listen to him you lose your pants. I don't know. I still have my pants on all of you can be witness.
We can confirm you have your pants. He has your pants on. Yeah.
So I'm already substantially invested, so I don't see any urgency in buying more stocks.
Okay.
Right, what I have now generates more than enough passive income for requirement.
Yeah, maybe the question that people ask, what is the percentage of cash that you have against your portfolio? I think that would be like,
I really don't know.
You don't know. Rough
I
gauge,
I just take money and sock away in the mooncake tin all the time.
Oh,
So,
where's the mooncake tin? Where they put it?
at home lah. Yeah, but no lah. I mean, my mooncake tin now is only my gold coins and my silver coins.
Oh.
Because ever since the interest rate went up, I took all the cash in my mooncake tin and I go and buy T-bills.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're big on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been. So if I talk about, okay, off the top of my head, T-bills plus Singapore savings bonds, and plus savings accounts and my emergency fund don't count lah. Maybe cash position now is about 15%.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
decent.
15%, and in 2 years' time, that cash position will balloon maybe to 40%.
Oh, because
CPF.
Oh,
Your
wow.
CPF money becomes cash right, by the time you're
yes,
55. Yeah, so
So when you get your CPF money, you want to kind of treat us.
treat you can lah. Chicken rice, no problem.
What do you plan to do anything with the CPF
Yeah.
windfall?
I might have to use I might have to windfall. Not windfall. No.
It's your money.
Yeah, or you work hard for the
Yeah,
money.
I
No? I
know,
mean,
right?
the government contributed quite a bit,
Yeah.
but most of it is your own blood and tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Any plans?
I might have to take a chunk of it to buy a car. Lah.
Okay.
Yeah, for my parents, yeah, old already, and my current car not very friendly to old people. I want to get those with a sliding door, the back
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So many people know you that you're a dividend investor. You like to invest in, dividend stocks like banks and REITs. But recently, maybe some time back, okay, I don't know how recent, you mentioned that somewhere, I think it was on your blog, I think, that you bought some Bitcoin, which doesn't give you a dividend. So why would you invest in something like that?
Okay, first, how much you bought?
I hide my face in shame. I've gone to the dark side.
How much did you bought?
No lah, I didn't even buy.
What's the price?
I
What's the
didn't even
price?
buy
Yeah.
one full coin.
Yeah.
Maybe almost one full coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fraction.
I was.
What's the price you paid?
You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It was. I remember I bought it was $20,000+ per coin.
So what's the Bitcoin now? I also don't know. I don't track.
I think it was six. My friend was
Let me
telling me
check.
$60,000. I
Wow.
don't know.
Oh.
Okay. So why did you
Yeah, why do you buy?
It's,
decide to dabble into that?
yeah.
It's now
yeah.
80,000 Sing.
That's Sing.
Huh?
This Sing, right?
How much?
So,
So you
US
convert
dollar
it
is
to
about
US
60.
dollars. Let me go to US dollars. There we go. 62,000 at this
Yeah lah,
point.
22,000 US lah.
Yeah.
I got in that time.
Okay.
I changed my mind because I was convinced that it's digital gold.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, why,
Yeah.
why?
But of course, if you are a true Warren Buffett student, then you poo-poo at this. Gold, silver,
But are
precious
you
metal,
using it
throw.
as a hedge like gold? But why would you do that?
Well, I've blogged about how even income investors, we might want to have some gold and silver, physical gold, physical silver in our portfolio as insurance.
So you actually have physical gold.
Oh, I have physical gold and physical
That is tin,
silver.
mooncake tin.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
talk
in my
about it,
mooncake
yeah.
tin.
I was trying to find where's the mooncake tin.
Okay, just because why is it in a tin is okay. I'm not joking. It's really in a mooncake tin, Bangawan solo mooncake tin. Right. The thing is that if
I want to go
anything,
to your house already now.
if anything happens, you take the tin and you run.
Okay. Okay.
It's portable.
Where you gonna run to, man? It's Singapore.
No lah, it's not Singapore. You run cross the border. Take a boat
It's
to
not like the
Batam or
US where
whatever.
they have this survivalist, like some people have this survivalist culture
Oh yeah.
where they live off grid. But it's the US because you can just go somewhere else with I guess your gold and your guns and your fuel and some food, and then you just survive there.
But you're talking about within the same country.
Yeah, I'm
I'm talking about leaving
how
Singapore
are you
with
gonna
your.
leave Singapore? Are you gonna swim with
I
the
mean,
gold?
I'm old. I'm old enough to have grandparents
Okay.
who escaped war.
Yeah.
Yeah, tumultuous times,
Mhm.
right? And they said the only thing that had value was gold and silver,
Okay.
Mm.
and they had to use that to pay their way out
So you
of
actually
tricky situations.
you-
My granddad had a box of gold bars,
But that's gonna be pretty heavy. But okay.
Where is this dog? Where is this dog?
No, it's all used up already.
His client still has his house.
He used up all the gold bars before he died. Very clever man.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah,
reason why
before-
I'm asking all these questions, I just understand your mindset. So like, if So you have gold because you could, this non-zero probability that something could happen and you would need that gold.
Okay lah, that's half joking lah. There's also the thing, the main reason why we should have some of this, because I'm half joking because Bitcoin cannot take and run.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Bitcoin you still need the internet, you still need the connections and all that kind of thing. So if there's Armageddon, then the Bitcoin is also zero, gone.
Yeah.
Right, no more computer, no more electricity and everything kind of thing. You go back to the dark ages, right? So why Bitcoin, right? You buy all this as insurance against flawed fiat currencies.
Okay.
That's the reason. So because fiat currencies can be abused, I mean, it's like the US have been having a ballooning national debt. They never have to pay their debt. They just keep printing money, right? Gold and silver supply finite. Bitcoin supply is also finite, right? The advantage of Bitcoin over gold and silver is that it can be transmitted electronically. You don't have to meet the person to give them a coin, right? So you can use it as mode of payment and all that kind of thing, buy things and all that. So it's insurance against fiat currencies failing.
So you actually, I mean, for that scenario to happen, it's actually going to be quite drastic for, let's say, the US dollar to fail, right? But you actually have that
crisis mentality.
Yeah, I guess I can put it that way.
I've always had a crisis mentality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why.
If I don't have a crisis mentality, I wouldn't have the passive income I have today because I was building buffers along the way.
Okay. But if fiat currency were to fail, I would assume the US is going to be big trouble. Would Bitcoin survive?
Bitcoin will survive because Bitcoin is not in the system.
Okay.
It's not within the banking system.
I know, but for a country as like the US to fail, wouldn't like a lot of things would have to happen that even like you said, the electricity could be out, the internet could be out.
I was just using the US as an example of ballooning national debt and how they can abuse fiat currencies. I'm not saying that they will fail. Okay. As long as the US dollar is used as the reserve currency for the world, they will not default because everyone keeps buying it. Right? But let's look at small countries. Like in the Middle East, for example, there are some countries in the Middle East, the people refuse to be paid in their home currency because of inflation. The money is worthless. And they also refuse to be paid in US dollar. You know why? When the US dollar is remitted into their account, the government takes 25, 30%, 50% cut. Then the rest they give to you. They demand to be paid in Bitcoin.
Okay.
No, like it's insurance, and it's not a lot of money. You know, you're talking about less than 5% of your portfolio.
Okay.
And you have something to fall back on if all these unthinkable happen. These unthinkables, they happen, then there is something.
I mean, at least he buy on discount assets, he's still portfolio size it properly. It's 5%. Because I know of people who like, wow, it's like every month dollar cost average the Bitcoin.
Ayo.
Wow. So I mean on a portfolio structure, he still is a very small percentage. So in the event, I think the Bitcoin, anything happen, it does not affect his whole portfolio that much. Yeah.
But to be fair, otherwise you get flamed by people. DCA into Bitcoin not so bad,
Yeah.
People sell house, sell car, sell mother, sell father, all the money put into Bitcoin. Then when Bitcoin price crash, all the sad stories came out.
Yeah. So I'm saying that you can do whatever investment. It's just that you must portfolio size it properly. Right. So that there's none of this investment can kill you. Right? That's the most important thing if you want to invest.
To add on to what you say, also DCA sizing properly. Maybe don't DCA every month of all your salary. Maybe that's 10% of your salary.
Yeah.
So that's your point, right? Position sizing.
Correct.
DCA also got position sizing.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Okay. So besides Bitcoin, is there anything else now at this point in time? Maybe it's not something that maybe you're serious about, but you're just kind of monitoring, looking at that piques your interest at this point?
I don't have the inclination to look at new things.
Okay.
I'm just looking at things that I'm familiar with. So mostly it's just banks and REITs. So like I say, all investments are good investments at the right price. So when the opportunity knocks out, I'll buy them.
Okay.
Yeah, and just building up cash position for now.
Okay. So nothing really stands out.
Yeah. So with the cash that you're going to have in the next, or once your CPF money comes in, if the rate were to stay low at that time, what would be your option? Just sit on it?
No, I mean, the question shouldn't be if the rates were to stay low. The question would be, what kind of value would the REITs bring to the table? What kind of value would the banks bring to the table? I mean, the rates stay low. That question would matter to creditors and debtors, which I'm not. I'm an investor. Yeah. So, but rates where they are going, that will matter to someone who's borrowing because he wants to pay less on his borrowings, and it will matter to people who are lending because how much are they going to make from lending you money?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I ask is because those people who bought like 1 year, maybe US or Singapore Treasury bonds, let's say it's coming due now, with the rate that is a lot lower. I think a lot of people are like wondering, where should I park my money next?
Well, if you are a person who likes to buy bonds because you like to hold to maturity and get your coupons, then obviously if your bonds are maturing now, you might want to lock in some long-term bonds.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless you say this person is a bondholder not because he likes it, but because he's waiting for a chance to buy equities, then that's another question altogether now. Then he might want to see, are there opportunities in the stock market right now? And I'll leave that question to you guys to answer.
Okay. Everyone is different. Yeah, okay. So I guess to just summarize, the last year or so, you've been just building up your cash because you don't see a lot of opportunities in the market that you invest in, which is Singapore.
Except DBS.
Except DBS. And you just kind of just rotate between the asset classes that you're familiar with. Banks, REITs. You wait for the right prices, and you don't tend to go outside of this circle of competence. This has worked for you for like 15, 20 years. You stick to it, and it has been very successful for you, right?
Yeah, that's what the global financial crisis taught me. Just stick to your circle of competence. And every time I stuck my head out, it gets chopped off,
So, but then you did Bitcoin, which is something a bit out of turn, but you feel that it's a bit of a hedge.
Well, Bitcoin really isn't. Okay, initially I was blogging about how I stayed away from Bitcoin. I would stay away from Bitcoin because it is just, Charlie Munger says it's rat poison, right? And I say there's no tangible value, nothing backing Bitcoin, and doesn't pay you, it's rubbish and all that kind of thing, right? That was before I was convinced there's digital gold.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mr. Ray Dalio, I watched a video where he was interviewed, and that was the final push that I needed. He said there's this very strong networking effect that Bitcoin has, and that Bitcoin is not manipulated, not like what's the one, Luna, Terra?
Yep.
Yeah, that was manipulated. So this one is like, there's a halving, and then the supply reduces, and there's finite quantity, and there's networking effect. So many people, they are using Bitcoin. So there's a very strong network, and when there's such a strong network, it will not fail. Because
kind of like
there's a community,
like
huge community.
Thing, right?
Like physical gold, and silver. So I was convinced there's digital gold. I was also thinking, I have all these gold and silver coins in my mooncake team. You want to pay someone how? Yeah, then Bitcoin can transfer like this. So I said, yeah, that's right. So buy some.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it's suitable for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, if you are starting out building your wealth and all that kind of thing, I think Bitcoin can wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same thing you've been doing the last 20 years, banks, REITs, income investments, and now just recently a little bit of Bitcoin, just because you feel that there's some value in that. And that's how you invest, right?
Bitcoin isn't an investment.
Okay.
It's insurance.
Yeah, it's a hedge.
Yeah. So gold, silver, Bitcoin, they're all insurance, they're not investments. So investments, they must pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't pay you.
Okay. So besides that, that's pretty much what you've been up to the past year, I would say. Shoring up cash and just waiting for opportunities. And interest rates, like you said, don't really... I mean, it was quite a bit of a surprise to see 50 basis points cut.
Yeah.
But like you said, in the whole scheme of things, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot. But to the Fed, it's a lot.
Yes.
Because their debt is so huge. U.S. national debt is so huge that they're bleeding so much money paying people who are holding their treasuries. Right, so if interest rate stays very high for very long, the burden on for them is very heavy.
Okay.
So 0.5 percentage point cut to them, they save a lot of interest payment on all the debt that they have issued. Right, so to them it's a big deal lah. But I think this is something that I am a bit fearful to say. But okay, I'll say it anyway. 不要打我，不要骂我。The thing is, by cutting 0.5% instead of 0.25%, the Fed could also be sending out a message that they are worried about the economy. Right? Because in one of my recent videos, I also say the job creation has slowed down. It was like from 200,000+ jobs per month to only less than half, 100,000+ jobs per month being created. And there are more people looking for jobs now in the US than before. That's why the unemployment rate has also crept up to 4.2%. So I think they are trying to fight inflation and at the same time not cause a recession, right? So it's an act they are trying to balance. And the fact that they cut 0.5% instead of 0.25% when inflation is not at 2% yet, it's 2.2%, shows that they are a bit worried. Not 2% yet, but why you cut interest rate? I thought you say 1 to 2%, then cut interest rate. That's why he said, right? Powell kept saying, I want to see 2%, sustainable 2% before I cut. I think it's 2.2, not 2 yet. You cut already and cut by 0.5 instead of 0.25. And if you look at the data historically, right, most of the time when the Fed start to cut interest rates, it's followed by a recession. Not every time, most of the time. So is that going to happen? Why is Warren Buffett holding on to so much cash? I don't know if he knows something. Yeah, so it's better to be cautious. I don't throw caution to the wind, wow, this good, rich good, buy everything, throw everything, including the kitchen sink, all throw inside. Then no war chest, and when the recession, if a recession comes, everything gets slaughtered. The bear doesn't spare anyone. Banks get slaughtered, REITs get slaughtered, everything gets slaughtered.
I think even like after you say this, some people may have the perception, the crash looks like the crash is coming, right? So some people will have inclination towards like, I'm going to sell everything. So I think just to put things into context, you're still mostly invested, right?
I'm staying invested, but I have a war chest
that is
which is still growing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So this is just to make things clear.
Some
people like
we can't predict. We can't predict things.
Don't ever get out of the market. Don't ever always stay invested.
Just adjust your cash position.
Don't ever
always be in the market.
Okay. So if there's one final thing you could share with all our viewers today, I mean, it's been almost a year since you've been back. Is there any final word of advice that you want to... I won't say advice. I know you don't like that word. Final thing you want to leave with our viewers before we finish up this roundtable.
Just talk to yourself. Just talk to yourself.
What to say?
Is there anything? I mean, you can say...
when people tell you something, don't think of it as the gospel truth. Especially on YouTube. You might be smarter than the YouTuber. Right? Have more confidence in yourself. Give yourself more credit. So a YouTuber can tell you, price went up already. You have missed the boat. Don't kanchiong, don't FOMO. Okay? The thing is, ask yourself, were you ever waiting for the boat? If you are not waiting for the boat, where got boat to miss?
Nice one. Good one.
So like in my case, I was never waiting to buy more REITs. So the REITs price go up. I miss nothing.
Right? All right. I think that's a great way to end the session. I think that's a very, very good message. Nice analogy as well. I think it's true. Yeah, it's sometimes people think that, I missed the boat, but they were never waiting for it. They were never waiting for it. And it's always with hindsight, I should have gone to that boat.
You are getting wiser.
You're getting wiser, huh?
I'm getting older.
Okay.
Wisdom's supposed to come with age. But that's not true for everybody.
Okay. So once again, everything that we've shared today, no recommendation to buy or sell anything, is just strictly for educational purposes. This is our opinions. AK's opinion. AK is talking to himself. He's not talking to anyone else. I mean, no need to predict the market or anything like that. It's just really, stick to your plan. Basically it's that. So I think it's pretty much it, right, guys?
Yep.
All right, my name is Adam. That is Rusmin,
Thank
Victor,
you.
and thank you so much, AK, for
Bye
being
bye.
here once again. Do check him out on his blog at A Singaporean Stocks Investor, ASSI. You can go Google that. Check him on YouTube as well. It's on the same name.
AK71SG.
Yeah, okay. AK71SG on YouTube. And of
YouTube.
course, and if you're wondering why this whole time he's in disguise, he just wants to be a private individual. So that's pretty much it. All right.
Yep.
So with that, thank you so much. If you like this roundtable, please hit the like button. Any questions, for AK, we'll be happy to pass them along as well. Put them in the comment section. AK,
Maybe the next podcast.
maybe. So any questions, we can maybe do a Q&A thing with if you have a lot of questions for AK. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables coming up, and we'll see you again.